Who'd have thought that after 9 months on the inside, the baby might fancy a bit more of that? Welcome to Diligent Dad. I'm Andrew, and it's my mission on the channel to support you in your early steps of fatherhood. The 4th trimester. So baby's been inside the womb for 9 straight months. That 9 months split into 3 trimesters, each one of which lasts very roughly 13 weeks. And demarks like a significant and different phase pregnancy. Well, the 4th trimester is a phrase coined by Dr. HARVEY KARP in the early 2000s to describe a technique or a philosophy of looking after the baby and making the baby as comfortable as possible in the first 12 weeks after it's born. You see, inside the womb is a very comfortable place to be. It's nicely cushioned, consistent temperature, surrounded by fluid, and the baby's fed 24/7. So in coming out of mum, the baby sort of loses all of that, all of those nice, comfortable things which kept it so comfortable for 9 months, and it gets a bit of a shock, really. So the principle of the 4th trimester is that if we can replicate as much of that, those conditions of the womb, as possible outside of mum's, then the baby's going to transition to the real world. It's going to be as smooth and comfortable as possible. So there are certain things we can do to try and replicate those conditions, and you, Dad, have a key part to play in preparing for that. So there are 5 key ways that Dr. HARVEY KARP recommends recreate or maintain some of the conditions of the womb for the first 12 weeks of the baby's life. Number 1, we give that baby food whenever asked for it. Okay. Some philosophies of feeding children are that you feed them on a schedule. Well, that baby was not fed on a specific schedule inside the womb. It was given food 24/7. And therefore it comes out and it still expects that food 24/7. So part of making it as comfortable as possible in the real world is giving it food as often as it asks for. It's got a very good way of letting us know when it's hungry. It cries. And once we recognize the crying which comes with hunger, then we can feed that child at those times. Number 2 is movement. Inside the womb, that baby moved a hell of a lot because mum would have moved a hell of a lot. So as much as possible, if we can replicate that movement, that's something that will feel very comfortable to the baby. And a very common way, a really great way of doing that is a chest harness. So one of these harnesses straps around your waist, straps over your shoulders. Baby sits in that on your front. Baby's head just below the chin, so you can keep an eye on the baby and check that it's breathing, check that its airways are clear. If the baby in there, and you're pretty much able to do everything you would do normally. Okay, maybe you couldn't go for a run, but for example, if you're doing the dishes, or you're going for a shop, or you're just going for a normal walk, or maybe even off to the pub, hey, you can keep the baby in there, and the baby's therefore is moving a lot more, and the baby's a lot more comfortable. You find that if the baby's in there and it's moving a lot, it's going to sleep a lot more than if it's not. And then if it's out, it's in the car, or it's in if it's stationary somewhere else. Number 3, we can swaddle the baby. I don't want to go into detail in this video on what swaddling is. There's loads of good videos, much better than I can produce, on what swaddling is. So go and look it up. But swaddling is effectively a way to recreate the nice wrapped around feeling that the baby would have had in the womb, where it was surrounded from all directions, and we basically wrap the baby in a specific, according to a specific technique, wrap the baby in blankets so that when it's asleep, or when we want it to sleep, when it's wrapped in those blankets, it feels warm and it feels cocooned, like it would have felt in the womb. And that helps it sleep, helps it feel comfortable, helps it feel safe and secure, because that's what's felt against his skin for the last 9 months. Speaking of what it feels against skin, number 4 is skin-on-skin contact. Now, I've done a video on skin-on-skin contact. I'll link to it up there. But skin-on-skin contact recreates the temperature conditions, or at least some of the temperature conditions the baby would have been used to inside the womb. Pretty consistent, 36.8, 36.9 degrees Celsius. So why would we not want to recreate that at least part of the time? So when we're at home and we get the chance, take our top off, Dad, and we hold the baby in close. That's going to make the baby feel super secure, comfortable, warm, and it's going to feel really happy then, because that's a sensation that it's been used to for the last 9 months again. Also giving baths to baby. So once the cord has fallen off, maybe after a week or 2, The advice is that then it's safe to give the baby a bath, and you buy an angel care. We've got a little angel care thing that you set in the bath, set the baby on it, fill the water up to a level, just splash the water over the baby. The baby may not like it, but it may also like it. And certainly our kids have enjoyed taking baths from an early age, because it recreates the sensation in the womb where they're surrounded by fluid 24/7, and just that splashing of water, splashing of nice warm water over their skin recreates the conditions in the womb, at least a little bit. It makes them feel safe and more uncomfortable. Also during the 4th trimester, this is the period when very often if postnatal depression is going to materialize in mum, it's going to materialize after the first week or two after the baby's born. So in this 12-week period, it's a bit of a sideline to the 4th trimester where we're trying to recreate the conditions in the womb, but I thought I would mention it now. Something for you to look out for, Dad, and maybe I'll do a bigger video on it sometime, but 1 in 7 women typically will suffer from postnatal depression. So immediately after the baby's born, it's very, very common for mum to feel the blues a little bit. And that's really, really common, really, really normal after the high, the elation of the labour, the child being born, then transition into having to look after the baby 24/7. You're exhausted. It can be natural and normal and very, very common for mum to feel some baby blues. But if those baby blues don't disappear after a week or two, then that could well be postnatal depression. But Dad, you can help mum and finding the support will certainly benefit from managing that depression. So something for you to look out for, Dad, and help mum to get the help that she may well need if she feels like those baby blues haven't disappeared after a week or two. So thinking proactively about the 4th trimester is all about managing your baby's transition into your household, helping that baby to feel like it's a smooth transition from being in the womb for 9 months into the real world, managing for that 12 weeks, then that first 12 weeks of the baby's life, to make a nice smooth glide down from the conditions in the womb to the conditions in the real world. And if you can do that, it'll make the baby feel happier during that period. And if the baby's happier during that period, something tells me the whole household is going to be a bit happier during that period, because you're not going to hear the baby crying quite as much, and the household won't feel quite as big a shock. You've been watching Diligent Dad. I'm Andrew. Hit subscribe and the bell icon and you'll be notified when I'm dropping new videos twice a week. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll speak to you again soon.